Welcome back, everyone. Today we're looking back at race number 1 of the FlatLands Cycling Monday Night Mountain Bike Series from July 2025. This is another FlatLands Cycling Club event. Give us a follow on social media and check out our website to see our upcoming events for the year and learn more about our club. This race was held at Lions Trail System in Fargo, North Dakota, and we used what is called Lions Loop 2 on Strava. This was a 3-lap race, and in the end I recorded just under 11 miles with about 400 feet of climbing. This loop surrounds the Lions Conservancy Park and parking lot, and it is a well-established part of the Lions Trail system. I think we've been riding on these trails for more than 5 or 6 years now, and we've used this same course for our Flatlands mountain bike races in the past. This loop is overall pretty fast with some open pedally sections, but there are also sections where the trail goes into the trees and gets very tight and twisty, sometimes forcing riders to slow way down to be precise and patient. And if I had to pick an X factor for this race, I would choose cornering. Cornering is important in any mountain bike race, but it seems especially so here. There must be hundreds of corners on this loop, and of nearly every type and variety that exists. High speed, low speed, bermed, flat, off camber, blind, weaving through trees, hairpin, double apex, tree-lined, and some types that haven't even been classified yet. So going fast in a straight line is great, but carrying that speed through corners and linking corners without bobbles or making mistakes is critical for going fast on this loop and saving your energy. Here we are, time for the race. On the start line, getting ready to sprint towards the first turn, and here we got Jaden to count us in.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
And we're off. I didn't get a shot of everyone on the line, but this is a mass start with about 20 riders, I think. You can see 2 are very quick off the line. That's Ryan on the left and Jay on the right, and I managed to be third into this first turn, which I was happy with, but I was definitely reminded of how hard these races are from the very beginning, and that I need to practice my starts more. So now I really want to move up here and get in front of Jay, but I can't really pass yet. So I get close to him, so I'm ready to move up as soon as possible. I felt Ryan was the favorite going into this race, and if we weren't careful, he could escape very quickly, and if he did, it would be very hard to reel him back. So as we exit the grass here, I take my first opportunity to make the pass on Jay so I can move up to Ryan's wheel. And you can see he's already starting to get away, so I had to dig and be aggressive in these turns to get back to him. And from there, my goal was just to hang around as long as I could. Comparing times on Strava is a pretty good indicator of where we rank in these mountain bike races, and Ryan has very fast times on all of our trails in town. Compared directly to me on this loop, he was a few seconds faster than me going into the race. If those times held true, I'd estimate he could be faster than me by 5 to 10 seconds per lap if we each had clean laps. So my margin for error is very slim here, and being directly behind him gives me the best chance to hang with him. This section here is an early indicator of how things are going to go for me in this race. Ryan carries good speed through these 2 corners and shoots down this ramp through the tight trees, and once we come out the other side, he suddenly has a 2 or 3 second gap on me. And that's how quick things can happen in this race. Luckily this next section's open, and I'll try to use this to close the gap on him. I like this little part of the course. You can see we split off from where the trail normally goes to get onto this open gravel road, which turns into a small climb. An open road like this is great because it creates passing opportunities in a mountain bike race that might not otherwise have them, and it's a nice break from the narrow single track. Once we get to the top of the hill, we turn and go right back down and carry a lot of speed into this next tree section. Knowing the course is key here. That small opening doesn't seem like a great place to carry 20 miles an hour into, but it works. And just ahead there's an awkward bridge taking us over a large pipe that lays on the trail. I did not want to hit that at 20. Shout out to Kevin who was on the side there watching the feature to make sure everyone got over it safely. After that it was back to an open section and back to work on trying to close up this gap. As we enter this tree section, you can see I did not do enough to close that gap much. It's partially okay because it's hard to be right on someone's wheel going fast through these trees. I was okay having a small buffer in front so I could focus on hitting my own lines and not watch how Ryan was getting through everything. Because you can see the trees are right on top of the trail and we have to swerve through them like they're ski slalom gates. But they're not the kind you want to clip. That would hurt. Since I know this trail pretty well, the lines I'm taking through these tight sections are pretty well choreographed and well practiced. All I need to do is focus on hitting my marks and not making any mistakes that will hurt my momentum and cause me to fall even farther behind. But you can see I'm having a pretty clean run here. Even with few mistakes, I'm still just not getting through it as fast as Ryan does, and you can see the gap ahead is expanding. In this video, I'm going to let the footage roll uncut all the way through to the end. I've watched this footage a couple of times now, and every time I do, I get sucked in and entranced by it, kind of, because I think every second of it is pretty interesting to watch, especially going through these tight tree sections. And yeah, it'd just be hard to cut it up. And as Ryan stretches out his gap ahead, I don't really have much to comment on about the situation of the race. I think it's pretty clear what's happening here. And I'm not going to do turn-by-turn analysis. I would just get dizzy trying to do that. So I'm going to let it roll for a bit, and I'll check in at points of interest, and I'll check in at each lap to give a small update on the situation. Right here we exit the trees and get out in the open for the first time in a while, and it gives us our first good view of the gap since earlier in the race. You could see flashes of Ryan in front as we made our way to this point of the lap, but it was hard to judge how much of a lead he had. But now in the open I could pick a point and count off the seconds to myself, and it's sitting right around 4 or 5 seconds. So after he got a quick 3 seconds on me earlier, I feel I did a good job limiting the damage to this point. But he's still just out of reach, and he's not going to come back easily. But being able to see flashes of him in front is good for me, as it keeps me motivated to continue chasing. This section right here is probably the hardest on the course, at least for me. The trees are super tight to the trail, and the turns are very tight as well, and slow. Every time I come through this part of the lap, I just try to be smooth and controlled and patient. Clipping a tree is obviously not helpful, but even having to slow down to narrowly avoid one could cost a couple of seconds and a lot of energy. So smooth is fast in this section. Just up this hill is the start-finish area, which means we're about to complete the first lap. But first, I need to shout out my girlfriend Bree and her dog Waffle, who came to watch. It was fun having them there supporting and cheering me on. As we cross the line, looking ahead, it seems that Ryan was able to stretch out his gap a bit, as he's barely in the picture here. And there's my first lap time, roughly 12 minutes 53 seconds. That's just a fun thing to see each lap. We'll check in again the next lap and compare. But seeing that Ryan stretched his lead a bit here, I know I have to dig in on this open area and try and claw back some time if I want to stay in this race. And And it starts to get harder after the first lap because it's been full gas to this point, and the adrenaline from the start is wearing off. But having one lap in the books is good because I've now seen the whole course at race pace and know the areas I made mistakes and can focus on cleaning those up for lap 2.
Thanks, Cam. You can probably head back.
this has been a pretty clean lap so far. No major mistakes that cost me a lot of time, and I felt like I hit most of the lines the way I want throughout the lap, but my fatigue is showing a bit. I don't have as much acceleration out of the corners as the first lap, and I'm not quite hitting the top speeds in some of these open sections that I was previously. And I did have to back my effort off a little bit this lap, trying to get a little bit of recovery so that I could continue to push on the final lap. And you may have noticed that we haven't really been catching those little glimpses of Ryan out front. I don't think I've seen him since the top of the gravel climb early on in the lap. But when we exit the trees here, we can see him up on the sidewalk at the top of the hill there. So my worst fear that he had completely checked out is not quite realized yet. So I'm not totally out of this one, and I have plenty of motivation to continue chasing. Here we are climbing the hill to cross the start-finish line again. Looking down the trail, we can see the gap to Ryan is pretty stable. He maybe added a second or two on me that lap. And you can see my lap 2 time was about 20 seconds slower than the first lap. And the stopwatch never lies. So I definitely backed off there to catch my breath. And it worked because at this point I didn't feel like I was totally out of gas. And I still had energy to continue pushing. By this point in the race, I had accepted that this was hard. I was getting used to the effort and told myself I only had to do it for one more lap. As we get on this gravel road, I can get a sense of the gap again and also catch a glimpse of how Ryan is riding this climb and maybe see if he's showing signs of fatigue as well. But he went up pretty fast and still looks strong to me. You can see by my power on the left hand side of the screen that I dug pretty hard up this climb, hoping that I could get some time back here. It was a hard effort, but I can't wait around any longer. This wasn't going to put me right back on his wheel, but it was a good section to burn a match and try and chip away at this gap. Looking down the tunnel of trees, we can see Ryan just ahead, and I'm encouraged to still be able to see him, but it's really hard to say if the gap is closing. I think in this race, the open areas of the trail like this suited me well, but the tighter areas of the trail, Ryan had a clear advantage on me. And I think we kind of yo-yoed back and forth in this race on those sections, at least in the first and final lap. It seemed like I would pull a little bit closer, then he would extend his lead a little bit. And it made for very, very fun racing, and it helped me push further into the race intensity, which is hard to do in practice or training. Here's our spot where we exit the trees and can get a good idea of the gap again. And look at that, it has definitely closed up some, but there's still work to do. Catching him is one thing, actually putting a pass on before the finish is a whole other story. And I haven't even caught him yet. I know he is strong in the trees and jumps segment coming up, which goes all the way to the finish line. So while I am getting closer, I think we both know that he has an advantage in his back jersey pocket with this section. But we continue on because you just never know in racing. Here we are approaching the finish, and you can see that Ryan was able to hold on pretty easily and took the win. I was pushing hard and made a few mistakes on that final segment, but even if I had a clean run through, I wouldn't have caught him. He was just flying. And there you can see my lap times. Happy to shave 3 seconds off on that final lap.
Nice work. That hurts. Animal. Yeah, that hurts a lot. Oh, I spin this out.
So I took second place in this first race in the series, which I was very happy with. I was happy with my effort, and I think I set some new segment PRs, which is always nice. There are some Strava stats, just under 11 miles, 40 minutes, and 400 feet of climbing. And yeah, some pretty spiky graphs. Other than heart rate, that was just consistently high. So overall, that was a great first race in the series. Local grassroots racing like this is the best. I hope you're lucky enough to have it where you live. And if you're in the Fargo Moorhead area, come out and join us. It's a great time. The next race after this was at Lions Trail System again, but on a totally different loop, which used brand new trail. I'll have video from that one coming up next, so watch out for that. Until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Good job, bud.
Thanks.
Awesome, man. Good job.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
More work than we had to do. Job,
I think so.
I got some cool footage,
A lot
boys.
quicker than you said it was gonna be.
Who got first?
Ryan,
It was tight. Nice work.
you too.
How'd you fare?
Somewhere in the top 10.
Who were you riding with?
You did really good. I went. I think I had Pat behind me a couple, and then there was a.
Prairie?
Yeah. And then.